one thing that it's helpful to do when you're just kind of thinking about like what do I want to help people with next, or what, even if we're talking about just Spark here, like what inside of the Spark world, from a problem and then a why are they having this problem, can we start to look at, once we've identified, okay, great. First things first, they're busy. They don't want to do their social. They have these other tasks that their coaches are giving them, these KPIs they need to pull and these reports they need to do. They don't want to do that. We've now freed this time up. What's that next level of problem that like sits right underneath that? And maybe it's nothing, but it's worth exploring. Maybe it's something. So, now that we've looked at social, now that we've looked at, these other things, these reports, what's that next level of problem that people come to you with? Or when you start to deep dive, what comes out?
So what comes out from a lot of people, and I think this is what the question is you're asking me, so please tell me if I'm off target, just interrupt me. But so many people then say things like, well, I'm a control freak, or they disclose, like, most of them, like, I don't even know where to start or how to delegate. So like, thanks for doing these two things that are really, really obvious, but like, I don't even know how to make use of that help. Like they like kind of get stalled.
Yeah.
Like,
what do I do next?
Yeah. Like, I know I need more help. I don't know what to tell you. So it would be maybe like mining for that. That could be part of it. And I do think part of the barrier, maybe a secondary problem to being like, well, this sounds great, but again, this might not be what you're asking me, but well, how do I know I can trust somebody overseas? Or how do I know to be competent?
Okay. Yeah.
These maybe less of challenges the individual is having, like in a generic or global sense. They would be more problems like barriers to accepting the help.
Yeah.
Maybe a better way to put it. So
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, those fall in there. Listen, I'm one of those people, Jay is always trying to get me to use a VA. And I'm like, why would I have somebody send emails for me? Like I type pretty fast. I like to think through what I'm writing. And I simply don't want somebody else doing it for me. Only probably, and your mind might be moving right now, but
how do you know that?
Because I don't have any like knowledge on what that would be. And I don't want to change the subject to that right now, by the way. But the point is I believe that that's another core problem that they have. We've gotten so, especially hair salon owners, I know their life well. I mean, I had a salon for 18 years. They're so in their day-to-day tasks. When I came out from behind the chair, I literally had no idea what to do next. And that's your thing is like, well, what do I do now? I'm a control freak. So these are good problems. What's a next thing that comes up?
So there's a couple of things there. So the things I think I was talking to are more of the barriers, but now you say, now that I've solved that problem, what other problem lies under it, or what is created?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So that's, I wasn't sure the direction. So now I understand better. Thank you. Well, I don't believe many hairdressers, let alone modern humans, are like, well, now I don't know what to do with all my extra time. I would say the bigger challenge would be how to stay organized in it, or how to continue to delegate versus defaulting to like now doing it all yourself again. A really big challenge we have a lot, I think, as stylists or those who do it all and running the business, would be how to stay in our lane. Perhaps that would be a precursor to the solution, but part of it would be identifying, what are you really on this earth to do? What really excites you and lights you up, ignites you, if you will. But like, what do those things look like? And how do you determine, like, so I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not overly confident, but I'm confident in the areas I'm competent with. Okay, Chris, I'll tell you a couple of things I'm good at. I'm really good at cleaning. Just could seem like a non sequitur. Work with me here. I am really good at cleaning. Love researching and planning travel. It's so fun for me. I'm probably better at the phones and the front desk than anybody on my team. So here we're going with like, yeah, I'm going to be, why do we keep getting bigger and bigger? It's fine with me, but is it supposed to be doing that? It's like, whoa. I'd like to see.
If not, I have to wear reading glasses.
Get my nostril up next. I was just thinking, is this going to keep going? Because pretty soon I'm like, hello, Chris.
Yeah.
So I don't really think I'm better than anybody at my salon at everything that's being done, but like I'm efficient and I know how to like talk to a guest. I know how to rebook them, all these things. Okay. So a competent salon owner could argue, well, like I'm better at writing my emails than some human in the Philippines or a competent business owner.
Yeah.
Part of the barrier is going to be, sure, Chris. And, maybe writing, written communication, and spoken word is your art. And maybe it is what you enjoy doing. For example, I'm an artist, but I don't love creating Canva and graphic design. I'm so happy to delegate that. But if that's something I actually enjoy doing, or if I'm talking to you as a business owner, I'm not going to try to get you to relinquish that because you enjoy it. So just because I'm really, really good at, let's say, cleaning my salon, it's not something I enjoy. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
But someone else should be doing that.
Yeah.
Another way that we can say this is identifying like what do you do that makes you the most money? Like, there's a name for it, like the quadrant. Like,
okay, I see where you're going. I am going to halt you.
Halt me.
I totally get what you're saying here. What I want to find is the problem that's pulling them to do all of this, and then start to speak about it and identify it. So go to that core problem.
Thank you. And thank you for interrupting that. Like that helps me. It's a lack of ability to delegate. But first of all, identify. I won't go into depth about the quadrant.
No, but just identify. Yeah. What's the thing?
Ability to know what goes where in that quadrant. What am I good at? Because I'm telling you, I'm good at cleaning my salon, Chris.
Yeah.
What am I good at? What do I make the most money at? Like, what is that? People have a hard time like figuring that out. And then understanding, why shouldn't I be cleaning my salon? Like they don't understand what to delegate or why to delegate.
That little thing right there that you just asked, why shouldn't I be?
Yeah.
That's
what you want. That's what you wanted me to say. Finally, got it out. Finally.
Right. Yeah. That because that's as a competent individual. First question to Jay. I mean, with Jay, I like, I'm pretty vulgar with him. So, I'll just like,
I'm so glad that you're treating me as the lady that I'm not.
It doesn't matter. My mother would roll over in her grave if I didn't. So, but I say it that way because I'm like, what, and that would catch somebody. So let me give you 3 reasons why you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. And now identify the problem. You're so good. Go ahead.
So you're telling me, give me 3 reasons why you shouldn't be.
For example, don't do that yet. I'm using that as a hook. Like that's a great hook. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the problem behind that? Like, aren't they doing it yet?
Yeah. No. What's right? Why have they not been able to pull themselves away from that yet?
Because they didn't even know they were supposed to. They're too busy to even stop to realize they're running on a freaking treadmill at full speed. How can you get off of a treadmill that's at 12% incline going 100 miles an hour? You biff it, you fall on your face, and you get thrown to the back of the gym. You can't get off of it gracefully. So it's very hard for people to stop long enough to even consider what they shouldn't be doing and why they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that as some kind of, whether that's a marketing campaign, whether that's on a banner. I don't know, I don't know anything about your show setups or anything like that, but like
show meaning when I'm
when you're out speaking, when something like that, where you're, why should you stop this? It's like all the stuff, why you should never do a towel in your salon, why you should never wash a color bowl in your salon. Like, these are things that, I worked for a guy that he had a $12 million salon. I had $1 million salon. Our lives were very different. And he didn't even do hair. I was insulted by that when I was younger, right? I'd hear an owner never did hair. I'd be like, this, and when with working with him, and I was in leadership roles, even in corporate, like it really settled into me, like leading and being a business owner and an entrepreneur are 2 completely different things.
You can't lead the militia from a foxhole.
Right. Yeah. Nice. And so, and that there's so many people out there arguing the opposite. They're going, well, how can I lead my team if I'm not standing right next to them? And it's like, well, I've seen it done. And, here. So anyway, I like this idea of why, like why you shouldn't be doing this. And I'm going to screen share again, because we're slightly getting ahead. But the idea is, as a brainstorm, to spend a little bit of time listing out these problems that, number one, are they fall in your need, the need that you want to solve. And number two, like, these are really the scorching problems that I want to solve. And then we identify, like, why are people having this problem? And it gets us closer to deciding the subject matter that we spend time talking about. It gets us closer to, when you and I first spoke, one of the challenges is that, like, hey, I'm good at a lot of things. There's things that I'm not good at, and I can call that out as well. And I'm good at calling that out, but, like, I'm good at a lot of things. And so I don't really consider myself a this, a that, and it's like, okay, I get that part, but what is the 1, 2, 3, or 4 things that you do want to spend your time, effort, and energy in solving? And then when you get there, now we start to identify, okay, whenever a camera's rolling, whenever there's a written piece of content going out, whenever we're creating a campaign, these are the big umbrellas. These are the big rocks that I want to talk about. And here's the reason why. Like, I know very well why this person's having this problem. And when you start to become that, this will start to kind of draw a line to help narrow down, because, like you said, you could go to the salon and do towels and color hair and ring people out and make the confirmation calls. But there's a really good reason why you're not doing those things. Well, it's the same thing when we're helping people solve problems. I've decided there's a real small window of problems that I help people solve. And anything outside of that lane, I'm not the right person for the conversation.
Yeah.
And so that's this portion of it. Any questions or thoughts or comments on that before I go to the next kind of activity?
I really appreciate that. And I'm grateful that you asked me the question in multiple different ways, just as far as like what I'm appreciating and as far as feedback goes, because it can be kind of hard. Like, well, what do you mean? What's the problem behind that problem? So it was helpful the way you asked that and directed that. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I mean,
and if it was terrible, I would tell you, just so.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I would say it nicely, but no, that helped.
You wouldn't even have to. I have 4 sisters. Trust me, being nice is not necessary. So after you create that list, you want to then prioritize. So when you want to go into prioritize, you want to talk to yourself, and I think you're really good at this already, about what you don't want to, what lane you don't want to drive in. I think that may be the most important thing. You want to make sure you're the right person to solve those problems. And then, again, I like to solve problems that make a measurable difference for people. And if it doesn't, I see a lot of people out there, and this doesn't really apply to you, but there's a lot of people out there like, hey, I'm a coach. Well, what kind of coach? Well, I help people to live their best life. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but like,
that for me.
Yeah. There's nobody out there like,
So I actually have a question about that bullet 4.
Yep.
That 4, if you don't mind scrolling up a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
What would solving this problem make a measurable difference to this market or client? Yep. And I would like you to help me identify that one question, if you've got a second, or
yeah. Yeah. This is your time. I'm happy to talk as much.
And I also don't want to take more of the time than what's offered at all. So I've had people ask, like Goldwell and L'Oreal, who said this could be something to offer on our point redemption platform, which I think is actually a great idea, because the better someone's business run, the more they're buying from their distributor. But that being said, measurable. How do you measure sleeping better? How do you measure how do you measure time saved? So it's really easy to measure something like our social campaigns. Oh, you have a 350% increase in engagement, views, and clicks, or following through the funnel. Well, it's a very measurable thing, right? That's a metric that can be tracked. So what I'm struggling with to some extent is, what problem does this solve? Well, this solves overwhelm. How do you measure if your overwhelm is solved? Oh, your Zoloft prescription decreased. You're less gray. Like,
okay,
it's hard to calibrate.
Yeah.
Measurable.
Yeah. Well, let's explore that a little bit, because I think there's more in there. Number one, time saved is something that I, you know, I mean, um,
I
I
can guarantee you're going to get 10 to 15 hours back in your week.
okay, that's measurable,
Okay.
right? So that's a thing where I go, wow, okay, give me another.
Another measurable,
Yeah,
um, assuming they're like most salon owners, your reviews will be answered in a timely fashion because speed is the new currency. So we could say your Google reviews will be, responded within, you know, 30 minutes during business hours, or before anybody else wakes up on your team, your emails will be read or something. So that's a
love
measure
it. Yeah, okay, give me another.
about a business owner of a salon specifically.
Yeah, I mean who picture the person that's getting the most benefit out of Spark right now. What are the benefits that that person is receiving from it? It might be you, but your target client, like somebody that's been doing this now, they've been using a VA. What are the benefits they're coming to you with and
Well,
telling you?
let's also talk about neurodiversity because that does matter, because a lot of the artists are
Okay.
like, "Oh, all over the
Yeah,
map."
but don't go there yet. Don't
Okay,
go there yet. Just
well,
what are like the don't go there yet. Stay with me.
I don't know
What
how
are
to say this without saying it. So I'll
Yep.
finish this part and then say that's not what you meant, Heather. But I'm able to get things done before I forget them out of my brain, and that's a
Okay.
massive benefit. So is that okay
Okay.
that I said that? Was that
Yep,
okay?
yep, yep,
Okay.
yep.
I thought it was valid, but no, like the fact that how many times have I been behind the chair or about to snarf down a bite of lunch as a stylist, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I follow up with that girl who applied? Did I answer that Instagram question? So like as those things are coming to mind, Chris, and I don't have my phone on me, but legitimately like just with my phone, I'll be like this. Hey, Irene, can you make sure you email Chris that link of the
Yeah.
recording ASAP? Like, I'm going to do that as soon as I'm done with our call.
Yeah.
It's not going to fall out of my brain and be somewhere in the ethers to wake me up at
Great.
2 a.m.
No, that's a measurable. That
Okay?
certainly is.
And
Yep,
it
that
was
certainly is.
measurable.
Yep, yep,
That's like truly as things pop into my mind. I was at a business training networking event yesterday, and
yep.
speakers were giving a ton of ideas that were very pertinent to Spark and my salon. So
Mhm.
guess what I did? As the speaker's talking, I'm screenshot or taking a picture, QR code, sending the link and saying, sign up with them for this, or
Yep.
email them, nice to meet you and thanks for your talk. Like it's happening I'm live tweeting my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no such thing as Twitter anymore, but you know what I mean? I'm live
Mhm.
dealing with things as they come up
Mhm.
is so it's like closing the tabs in the computer and handling things immediately increases the chances that they'll get done for someone like me and someone like a salon owner 10 times. That's not really scientifically proven. But
Yeah. No, but I get it. I get it. So those are when we take a list of this and when we're looking at the problems we want to solve, we go, is there something that I can say to somebody? Now, by the way, better sleep isn't net. Most people can't measure it, but it is a measurable. But it can be a tertiary, right? So you've got your primary benefits are like get 10 to 15 hours back. Imagine having things like your Google reviews being answered without you having to think about, you're able to get things done before they fly out of your brain. Like you want to have a good list of those, and then
would be while you're driving home, you can do a voice note. So like as it's in your head while you're driving, you can push record and send the voice note so that it's downloaded. And when you get into the door at home, you're now able to walk your dog and be fully present on your walk instead of texting somebody, or you know what I mean?
yeah.
Or it gives you some, I don't know if that's tangible. That's why
Yeah, that sounds more like an action than a benefit. So think about like tell me the benefit that action gives you. It's
peace of mind.
peace of mind. Yeah.
Legitimately, I'm not both
Peace of mind for what?
peace of mind so that, or peace of mind for.
Either or, which one?
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what do you peace of
Peace
mind?
of, yeah, peace of mind for that, or peace of mind because you know that things are
Are being
completed.
handled, peace of mind because I know it sounds annoying. Will you ask it a different way for me again?
Sure. Um, why does leaving a voice note for an activity that's maybe going to fly out of your head, why does that bring you peace of mind?
Have you ever forgotten something important?
Yes. And
So
so why would that give you peace of mind?
because it's getting done, and
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm not disappointing people I care about.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
getting
No more missed appointments. No
anniversary.
more not showing up for a thing.
The
No
day
more, right?
the grandma's coming over for dinner.
Yes.
The birthday present was supposed to be shipped in the mail.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you meant. Yeah.
Yes. No more birthday sneaking up on you. No more, forgetting about important appointments. No more, having your schedule messed up by blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't know if that's one of them, but those are the benefits. Those are the measurable things that you want to get caught saying those things out loud.
Okay.
So does that make sense? Not
Yes.
every person's going to like identify with, I have somebody reply to emails or book my flights, right? Now, people are going to be like, fly? Like, I haven't left the salon in 6 years, 16 years. But when you say, even if it was just, look, I'm going to get you 10 to 15 hours back for way less money than you get paid by your business or behind the chair. And, you're going to have the peace of mind to know that this, and this, like,
and less than what you pay somebody. So there is a benefit to the increased margins.
Yeah.
So not only getting the things done.
There you go.
Saved. So like, talk to me about money. Some people love money. Some people love time.
Absolutely.
So whatever their brain is oriented towards, like you got time to walk your dog and go to yoga.
Yeah.
Be present with your people at dinner, whoever those people are.
That's right.
That's peace of mind because you're present now in your moment.
Now you go to money.
Then money people. Because who doesn't want more money? I don't care if you have $10 billion. Those people actually want more money. So like, you're not only getting these things done and they're like, great, you're getting it done for a fraction of the cost of your hourly wage or the other people in your team that you would have to employ to do this.
So now I'll bring this full circle. Whenever you're listing a problem out that you want to solve as a business, we always want to bear in mind, okay, what are my measurables going to be? What's the result that they're going to get in the end? Especially if I'm the one marketing. If you have a marketing team, you let them handle it. But if in the beginning you're the person who's doing that, because when somebody comes to you, they start to have that conversation, or when they catch you on video, if you hit my top two things, well, somebody says time, okay, great. I could really care less about the 15 hours. Oh, but I could make an extra this per month. Oh, okay. I'm at least more interested. And so, the more measurables that you can stack, that's called value stacking. I'm sure you've heard it, that term a million times, but the more measurables that I can stack on top of the problem, I mean, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves now. The better it is. So you want to think about that. What's the problem? Why are they having this problem? And then as you're kind of flushing it out, you go, okay, is this a measurable thing that will make a difference in somebody's life? If not, people will struggle to put their thing. I know a lot of coaches, again, that struggle to get their thing out there because their life has gotten so fluffy that they live in the fluffy. And like somebody that's like working real hard, they don't relate to fluffy,
I've been exposed to a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm actually relatively turned off by that term and almost averse to it because of how many non-actionable coaches coaching.
Yeah. Non-actionable. There you go.
Give me something tangible.
Yes.
So to people, it's what is there a real pain point?
Yeah.
And if you're like you mentioned, like the value stacking, if you're not, so maybe my pain point isn't time. Maybe my pain point is money. Maybe I have plenty of money. I've got that book I want to write. There's always something else to do with your superpower. And so you were speaking to the person who's like, my business is run flawlessly. I have a salon director, Chris. I'm not in salon more than 5 hours a week at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't need someone doing that.
Yeah.
But what else could I be doing? Is it that you wanted to write? Were you wanting to train to be a yoga instructor? If you're wanting to take, what thing are you not doing because somehow you haven't figured your shit out? I'd like to help.
Yeah. And they're, something to consider, and then we'll definitely move to the next thing here, is think about the level that you're catching people at. So in the long run, you may just do Spark. This is it. It's VA firms. It's identifiably for people that were like me, who have a successful salon, who they value their time highly. They want to get some of it back because they have other things they want to do, like write a book, like do a little bit more yoga, like spend a little time with their, children. Like there's that person, and that could be your identifiable target market. After you've done a great job solving that, Now you go, okay, now how do I start to pull people up to this? Maybe down the road. And then you go, okay, what other products can I do that catches somebody at that? They're so busy being busy that they don't even have time to look up.
They don't even know their KPIs. They don't even know what KPIs
Right,
to.
right. And
the
maybe
absolute products I
yeah,
could be selling, which would be like, here's your PDF, here's
yeah,
your sheet. But I mean, I know a lot of people already do that, but no one's as interesting.
right, right.
No,
And
but like people, when people identify with you as a
yeah,
brand, they don't care if 10 other people are selling that.
yeah, 1,000%. Look, everybody knows Summit's out there. I mean, I was a Summit salon back in the, early 2000s, and I traveled with Michael Cole for 7 years. Long story short, like, not everybody's a fit because they don't either, they like that there's somebody for everybody.
Maxwell driving you crazy? Was that you?
Yeah, I can't stand the guy.
I was like, I think it was our conversation where like John Maxwell, like people love him. You're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I literally cannot stand John.
Like there's like John Maxwell devotees. So yes, you're right. Like we could all be saying the same thing, but who's hearing what you're saying that touches them differently than another person? And
Yeah,
certainly,
1,000%.
I mean, it's
1,000%.
like, I don't know what your background is ethnically, and I'm not assuming your gender, but people have heard a
You
lot.
can assume my gender. That's okay with me.
People have heard a lot from like, middle-aged white guys. And so sometimes that's not going to resonate. They want to hear from a woman.
1,000%. No, 1,000%. Yeah, no, 1,000%. Yeah, no, yeah, no, 1,000%. It's why I think everybody should be on video. I just don't think they should be filming it for themselves unless they really want to. And that's my person is that. So
that's good. See, I like that though. And a lot of people don't ever do it. They're like, maybe I should be on camera, but then they don't do it.
Yeah, because of the pain points of it's a pain in the ass. It's too hard. I don't want to do it. Blah, 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 blah. Last night I recorded a 2-hour. I had 5 people on and we were taking them through a workshop. And I didn't turn my battery on my microphone on. I didn't turn the other side on. So I have 2 hours of me on a great conversation with no sound. Yeah. And I do it for a living. So like, that's why I say it. So anyway, moving on, once we've kind of identified the problem that we want to solve, we know that it's measurable. We feel good about that. Now we start to take a look at what's going on in the industry. And so in every industry, some businesses struggle while others thrive. And oftentimes you hear the beliefs around, well, it's just to this is, well, then how come they're doing this in Phoenix? How come? So one key factor is that top performers set themselves apart by how effectively they solve their target clients' core problems. Definitely specifically in the coaching world, right? How well I solve people's problems, obviously helps me to be better in my business. When a problem exists, there's always people out there actively searching for solutions. Even if they're not, they're at least the questions being asked in their head. And often there are already options out there. So there's already VA firms out there, right? That exists. By examining existing solutions, including those that you may already offer, we can find inspiration to develop fresh, innovative approaches that not only stand out, but have the potential to revolutionize your market. Kind of like what you did, bringing that to, bringing that into the salon industry. So in this area, we basically take a look at, the 3 to 5 solutions that are out there for the specific problems that you're trying to solve. So we would have prioritized our top 3 to 5. And now we go through these individually and we say, like, I like the, you could use social media, or you can use your KPIs, or, are you so busy in your business that you don't have time to do anything? Whichever one of those you want to, we can start to identify, number one, core solutions, or maybe your top favorites. And then what are some other solutions that exist, so we can get creative around product creation.
Okay.
So pick, a challenge that we just talked about that already exists out there in the market, maybe similar to you or exists out there.
Well, there's social media management companies. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's not revolutionary in the slightest.
Yeah.
aplenty, tons of social media people, tons of marketers. So those solutions exist. But doing really people who are doing it for you, that's pretty straightforward. It would be essentially like a social media manager or marketing firm. Do you have other questions relating to that one, or would you want me to go to a different one?
Well, no, let's take a look at that. So now, what are the solutions, number one, that you offer for that specifically?
We offer content engagement. We offer creating from scratch. Basically, like you give us just raw footage and photos and we'll create fully the content. We also will work with whoever you have, like say you have someone on site or somebody who comes in and does your photos, we will work with them to develop content. So we can kind of do it from top to bottom. A lot of people have somebody sort of in salon because many salons have people like that. So we'll essentially schedule the posts, make sure that they're, what's it called? Make sure that they're being engaged on, and make sure that everything's like happening on a schedule.
Schedule, interact, bring any maybe check, something happens on social that you need to be aware of, bring that to your attention.
Yes.
Yeah. So you offer a couple of different things. You offer engagement, you offer straight up full service. We take it completely off your hands and we just let you know what you need to know. What's something else that could be helpful for them? Doesn't mean you want to solve it. Just we're just brainstorming.
Somebody going in to photograph for them. Someone taking the photos.
What else?
Someone then telling them what to photograph, like a complete list of here's what to photograph so that you have content. So some kind of resource guide for that. Would be good.
Guide.
A prompt for seasonal promotions, holidays upcoming, a prompt for photograph some things, or like if I was to say, hey, give me some ideas for us to post for you, I could give you a prompt that would help you to jog your memory or to jog your, like, here's what's coming up.
Yeah.
It's like, so like templates, I guess is the right word I'm looking for. So templates so that as a salon owner, I can provide something actionable for my assistant to create. Trying to think if there's anything else.
Okay. So
there's a ton of things.
Yep. So now on this, I love all the ideas you just shared. Look, how revolutionary would that be? Like that you source, let's say I'm going to say a small or mid-size photographer, videographer that lives in a certain market. Maybe you start with your market, or maybe you start with familiar markets, and you start to do business with that person, like and trust them, obviously. And like, hey, once a month, we'll send somebody in to take pictures of your staff to get some,
affiliate that's going to make, because honestly, a lot of salons have people on their team doing stuff, and a lot of them are like, I don't really have the content. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I live in Arizona and you live in New York.
Yeah.
So creating affiliates where I can say, these are some trusted resources that we can once a month.
It's interesting. That's for sure. Not saying to do it. I'm just saying it's interesting. Right.
It is. I love thinking about interesting things. I think for so many of us as business owners, overwhelmed people, creative professionals, or, fill in the blank, for so many of us, the barrier is to just finding the resource, I know I need help with social, but to stop and actually find someone to do that alone would be complicated.
Yeah.
The
lowest barrier of entry things that you just said, and these could all just be, loss leader, introductory things like
say that word again. You said what lead?
Loss leader.
Okay. Loss leader. I couldn't hear the word. Okay. Loss leader or introductory. Okay.
Yeah. Like that. I loved your list of like your guide on take these shots, everyone. Cause look, not a lot of those people in the salons are super creative with, those types of things. You're like, hey, here's 10 shots you've got to get for us once a month.
If you told me, fill out these top 3 to 5 solutions that already exist in your market, I could answer that. But if you're like, Heather, present to me your idea, I'd be like, right. But when you give me prompts, I can work with a prompt. So I think you're right. A lot of us have it in our brain somewhere. Same with the salon owner photos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So even as a conversation starter or a way to collect more email addresses. I think one of your probably best friends will be growing a large database of emails. And even when you're able to connect inside of that L'Oreal umbrella and get on the point system, or I think it was L'Oreal you said, right?
I said L'Oreal and Goldwell, but I like that you said Win. It was cute.
Okay. Yeah. L'Oreal and Goldwell. So like, even when you're able to get on those, now what do I have that would attract a salon? And it's like, here's a list of 50 different ideas for social media posts for your salon. Here's a list of boom. And now I've got an introduction. And so, again, these are all also great talking points.
Hey, Cosmo Prof. Hey, anybody who has clients in the salon that you want to give them a value, I've got a Christmas gift for you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send it on your behalf. Like, let's make them the hero.
Yeah.
So that they want to share Spark with others.
Again, been done before in some ways, but the marketing promotions piece I love as well, because, there are plenty of salons out there that have no idea what to do for, whether it be the holidays, Mother's Day, this day, that day. And, just even having a template of 12 ideas
every month. Furthermore, if you had the 5 seconds to sit down and Google it, Chris, you'd find it.
Oh, it's all there. Yeah, it's all there. Yeah.
GPT output. It's actually the stopping to do it. If it's put in front of my face, I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea, but I didn't stop long enough to do it myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, from here, this is the piece. The food for thought around this is, we take a look at solutions we want to solve. We take a look at what we already offer. And then we want to have ideas in our bucket around what are other things, or what's the next thing we do once we master what we have.
Okay.
Again, who my market is. So we're always talking about, is it a course offering? Is it a coaching offering? In your case, is it physical products and resources perhaps? Mm-hmm. And I think you could become a resource bank, where you start to make the lives of potential clients easier before they even come on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that could be really an interesting, kind of a thing. Like, hey, my team will send you our resources, or you build enough up over time that now you can offer these resources for sale as downloadables. Yeah. And everything from, Nikki and I were talking about this yesterday, like, everything from what am I trying to say? Policy and procedure manual in a salon.
I have all those. Right. Templates I could offer, because I actually gave them to 2 of my friends starting salons from BB.
Yeah, and they loved them.
And they were like, I would have paid $1,000 for that. I'm like, wait, are you kidding me?
No. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
But then I realized how many hours of work it took for me to put it together, or how many classes I took to get that information. I'm the rare business owner in a salon that went through the process to read everything, listen to every podcast, and take business classes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Stuff. So yeah.
So you're saving them, let's say, 3 years of time minimum.
Oh, really?
Minimum.
Wow. See, I have definitely undersold my own capacity and what I have in IP. I'm like, I don't know, $20. You're my friend.
Most people do. Now, granted, you could have a free downloadable that's a front desk checklist, right? You could have, something that's a interview checklist, something of that nature. But the big package, again, those are really valuable things for people. The big package is, this is our whole enchilada. And maybe you do a 3-video series where you're walking people through the policy and procedure manual and explaining some, behind it, which isn't some of the theory behind it, which isn't hard to do at all. And that turns into a small online course that people buy for, $300, $275 or $495. It's like, this is a full policy procedure manual. It saves on average 3 to 5 years of your life and misery as a salon owner creating this thing. So again, whenever we're looking at these, and it says food for thought on here, when we're talking about our solutions, does it solve a problem? Does it teach you how to solve a problem? Am I selling you a product that solves your problem? Am I helping you to achieve an important goal or get better at a skill? And then am I saving you those valuable things like time, money, energy,
Sure.
effort. And so again, this is the process for going through and having a physical product brainstorm or a brainstorm. And you have this, I sent this to you. So
Thank you. I was
you
just
can
taking
kind of,
some notes on some of the ideas you're rattling off, because here's the thing. I'll tell you kind of what, like, another barrier that I have. And it's the assumption, and there's a word for it. It's a cognitive bias or logical fallacy, and I can't remember which one. But there's an assumption that this is pretty basic because I can recall it. I can
right.
tell you
Yeah.
so quickly.
Yeah.
So whatever we have that's pretty dialed in as our primary skill set, there can be the false assumption that, like, I could tell you to go put on a black shirt because I know how to go put on a black shirt, but it could really, like, I don't even know what the color black is. I don't know what a t-shirt is. I don't know where the shirts are. Like, I forget how many people would be missing that. And that might be what you're talking about. Like, so we've got our target market of people who are like $1 million plus busy salon owners, but then there's the people just below that. I don't mean up or down, but, you know, in a different phase of their business where they're like, what should I even look for in a KPI? Those kind of things. So sometimes it's really hard for me to even consider that. And the other thing is, I'm like, there's 8,000 people with checklists and templates and all this other stuff. So a lot of times I'm kind of like, that's so saturated. I believe that that's what I default to. And I don't know if that's fear or something, but I kind of am just like, isn't that saturated already?
Not from you. You have zero out there. So you know what I mean? Like,
you didn't Google me, but actually you probably did. No, I don't. You're right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you know, if I want to work with you, then I want your template, you know?
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
It's going to be more exciting and not boring or stuffy. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm working with you, then I want your template. You know, I mean, this is the one that we did. And this is how I'm not at, you know, I'm at the salon 5 hours a week and, you know, started another business. Like, that's.
Nobody asked me how much money I was making, but that is all true.
Yep. It doesn't make a difference in the beginning. Listen, you know, I mean, I left, you know, the industry that I could make the most money in the easiest. But I didn't want to do it anymore.
You did what I did.
Huh?
You did what I did.
Yeah, I wanted to go do something else. I mean, my brain grew, I think.
Well, that's exciting, and we got to stop that from happening.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, and that's the idea. It's you know, there's somebody for everybody, and the biggest fallacy is that, you know, just because it's out there doesn't mean whatever. There's a million, you know, I mean, we can make a million different things, right? There's a million pairs of jeans companies out there. McDonald's and Burger King are right across the street from each other. They both sell basically the same thing. The list goes on, right? Yep. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, the list goes on. Okay, so these are the last two pieces, and this is just, again, this could be for talking points for you. I know you speak with groups sometime. I'm just going to skip all this and just take you to the actual activity because those were just directions on how to use it. Once we've got problem, solution, things that we want to add to, maybe we've already developed these things. In order to connect best with people through either a presentation or, in my specific case, it's, you know, helping people on video, we like to make a big list of the frequently asked questions that people ask us. And this is just a list of 10 for space purposes, but, you know, getting up to 50 questions that, like, you start with, okay, these are the top 5 things people ask me. And then we start to take a look at what's every question you've ever been asked by a business owner before in your life. And we try to really expand on that. So
really good that I have an eidetic memory.
Huh? Yeah.
I said the part where it's really good that I have an eidetic memory.
I'll give you a list of give me, say again.
I'll give you a list of 2,485.
All right. Just give me 3.
Okay. For the beginner FAQs?
Yeah.
Like, is this a real person? Do you mean like that?
Yeah. Yes.
How do they know how to help? Like, how do they know what to do? How do I know I can trust them? So are they real? How do they figure me out? And how do I know I can trust them? Those are probably the top 3.
Give me more.
Of like the basic questions in the beginner category first? Okay. Do they speak English? Do they work on my time zone?
Okay. Give me more.
Do they know how to work with salon software? How do
more.
they communicate with me? How will I correspond? Do I text them? Do I email them?
Okay. Now these are all people that are either interested in enrolling or already enrolled perhaps, and you're starting to take them through the process. Give me a few that a beginner to a VA
World would do.
might ask.
Some of those actually are people who don't even, they've heard about it for the first time and that's like right out of their mouth.
Okay.
So even like scale back, like somebody who has less and less experience, what is
Yeah.
an executive assistant?
Thank you.
Could be the people I'm talking to aren't enrolled, but they have a little bit more of a grasp than what you're describing.
Okay.
So I'll try to scale back even more. Like, what is an EA?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah.
Is my information safe with them? Are they here in the United States? Or where do they live?
Yeah.
Um,
Give me one quick second.
yes.
Well, I don't type as fast as you.
Can you see me?
No, but I can hear you.
Oh,
Well, I guess I can see you too. Yeah.
I didn't know if you could like see the chat as I was typing it.
No. So these are amazing, right? Now I want you to create a list of what they should be asking you.
Is that what the SAQ is?
Yes. Should ask questions. What are the things I should really know about working with a VA before I
I would say those are probably in the intermediate questions, which would be, how do I communicate with them?
Okay.
What is the onboarding process like? How do I begin to delegate my tasks? Who's supervising them? How can I know that they are doing what they say they're doing? I think a beginner SAQ should be, are they being treated ethically and are they earning a living wage? But that's because that's how I work.
That's really good.
So they should be asking, like, are these people safe and being taken care of by your company?
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be, how does the billing work? Is this a contract? Is this month to month?
Okay.
When can I expect to see results? What kind of results can I expect to see? I want to delegate more. How can I begin that process? How do I learn what to delegate? How do I define what my core offerings should be to my clients or in my business so that I can scale and do something different than everything?
Yeah.
Like, those are questions people should be asking, but those are intermediate.
Right. Super good. So
I was supposed to be an interrogator in my first life. I can ask more questions if you want.
no. But yes, for you want to sit down and you want to make these lists as big as possible because these are all the things you want to be caught answering. Again, yeah. And whether that's in your, maybe you already have FAQs that are created for your, on whether it's the website or in your onboarding materials. But these are the things it's helpful to hear out of somebody's mouth. That's a real person that, started the business because she was having the same exact primary challenges that you were having or that you're currently having. And these are the things that I was curious about when I first jumped on board with my first one. And now I have 5, because I just, I get so much out of the process. So these are the types of sound bites that we now go and create. And when I create content for people, what we do is we build a list of it, a minimum of 60 questions that we do. And then what we do is we basically set up multiple different setups. We interview, we ask these questions over and over again, different wardrobe, different hair, different setups. And this is something that you could easily do, with your group at home. And now you start to build this big bank of, again, here I was caught on camera answering the important question, are these people getting taken care of? Are they actually, yes, these are real people. They're getting paid a real wage and it's livable in their country and they love their job. Right. And so like that we know in the hair industry that there's a lot more people that are thinking about that than maybe in many other industries.
Hearts.
Right. So it's a big deal. How do I communicate with them? Also a big deal. These are all beautiful talking points. So take that list, expand on it, and then figure out a way to start to answer those questions out loud on, in your social media presence, whether it's just through the Spark brand or whether you decide to take up in front of a camera. Yeah, I love all of that. So once we've done that, just, kind of, there's some notes there. The last and final thing is like, you will develop when you go through this work a few times, you will develop more offerings, kind of like what we just did with the templates and different things like that. So I got the term value proposition probably from Alex Hormozy. He's just somebody I, like follow his work. I love his work. And in my work with coaches, I'll just read straight from the thing. One of the most challenging tasks for most coaches is to define their core offerings. Oftentimes, like you, they have a business idea for one business, and then they don't realize there's a lot more in there. Like there's a big kind of a domino effect that happens when you start to create good ideas. So this is the what you do, and it seems straightforward, but a lot of people miss the mark. So when you're developing an offering, we're asking, does it deliver a meaningful and measurable result? Again, if I drink this water, right, I get my thirst quenched. If I hire this VA, I get more time back. I'm less overwhelmed. It needs to be easy to explain and understand, which is why we go through the process of pulling the questions, the problems. I want to know very specifically what problem you solve, why are they having this problem, what questions they might be asking, and then how you solve that problem through either your offer or a product. And then does it target a specific market? It's not just for anybody. And I love that look, this is for salon owners. And I love that chinchilla is just like running around in the cage.
I can't believe you can see them.
Yeah, he just jumped around from the top to the bottom. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And then the other thing is, does it repel those who aren't an ideal fit? You actually want to repel people from a product that aren't an ideal fit.
From me that aren't an ideal fit too, Chris. So let's not limit it to my business.
Right. 1,000%. And, it's that's just real. So a lot of people have a real problem with that. And that's what it does. So,
hey, have you seen my business card?
I have not.
It says bigger margins because size matters.
There we go.
My tagline is efficient AF.
Yeah. Yeah. So
if you don't want to be efficient as fuck, we probably shouldn't work together.
There you go. There you go. You just knocked me off the list. So, it's the idea is that is truly in 2025 or 2024. Okay. Maybe back in the past, like everybody needed to be forever, but the truth is we want to really like learn to repel people so we're not dancing, with the wrong date, at prom. So, how do we increase the value of our offer? And this is where I'm focusing right now on the templates for you. I'm focusing on your policies and procedure manuals, because it sounds to me like you're taking that information for granted. Or, the fact that you have that, like, wow, that was so easy for me to do, because that most salon owners, I think there's a lot of value in that. So it's the same kind of 4 principles. Does it help somebody to achieve their ideal outcome? Like a salon owner, if I could put my systems in their hands, would it help them to achieve an ideal outcome? How likely would it be that they would be able to achieve this? Like, is success clear and believable? Does it shorten the time needed to reach their goal? Like, even if you're just giving them time back, that is a valuable, measurable thing. And then can you reduce the effort and sacrifice required for them to succeed? So those are the only 4 things that it takes, right, to make a product. And so with each different offering that we, help people with, we teach them this value proposition thing again that I did not make up. I got it from Alex Hormozy, but I love his definition of it. So
You didn't make it up either. So you just
what
like
that, right? Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Alex
He's
Hormozy.
the first person. Actually, he's not the first person I heard it from, but he explains it the easiest for my brain.
Said it best. And I appreciate you making that point because it drives home what you're telling me.
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah, the first people that I learned it from, I actually didn't like them that much. So it was hard for me to learn from them. But a value proposition is a concise statement outlining exactly what clients will gain from your offer, how it saves them time, money, or effort. You can use this formula to create powerful value statements as well as really powerful products. And in essence, it's I help insert target audience to achieve desired outcome in time frame without sacrificing common similar sacrifice. So like for Elevate, ours is real clear and simple. We help coaches, consultants, and public speakers to create months of short form video content in just 2 days without the hassle of having to film it and edit them themselves. So that's beautiful. Real singular. Yeah. It's, real easy. And that's in essence the once we kind of get through all there, we've got a product. Now we work hard, with the person to develop the best value proposition for each of the products that they offer. So, obviously templates don't do what Spark does. Don't do, they're all they're complementary, but each product has its own value proposition. So download these templates and this will happen in this period of time and it'll save you this, and this. Use our systems by yourself or, work with us and
or just work with an assistant and we'll give you your own branded. If you want it to be branded to your salon and filled out for your state's legal context, you can also hire us to do that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So that's the core 4 process. That's the thing. So I know this was a